Hey traders, how's everybody doing? It's Monday, March 10th, and it's a bit of deja vu today. So the market today looked pretty much like it looked every day last week. And just like all last week, I went short every single day and made money every single day. Once again, today went short. All I did was trade the SPY. 6 put contracts on the SPY for 11%, total of $729 today. And I traded it exactly the same way that I usually do. So there's no new technique or anything on this video. The point of the video that I want to make today is it's more of a philosophical thing. And I think that a lot of times people make things more complicated than they need to be. It's really extremely simple when you just strip things down to their most bare-boned, like raw elemental aspects. And so there's two things that I want to talk about today, and they both relate to society and the way that people's brains naturally work. And if you can understand society and understand the way that people's minds work, that will go a long way to having success in your day trading, because at the end of the day, it's just humanity that makes the market what it is. The market would not exist without people trading stocks. And so if you can understand the way that people think and the way that society moves, you can do a better job of understanding what may happen in the stock market. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that people really, as a whole, in general, these are all generalizations, of course. Certainly there are exceptions to everything that I'm going to talk about. But in general, people like to be able to predict the future when they can. And so that's why it's very, very exciting for people to think that they have basically predicted a bottom or a top on something, when price is moving. And lately, obviously, price has just been continuing to move to the downside. So it's just human nature that you're going to get a lot of people that want to basically predict the bottom. And they think, we'll take these stair step movements down, and then they'll see a little spot and they'll go, oh, this has to be the bottom. Let me get in here and, buy at the bottom. Keeps falling, so they were wrong. And then the next downwards move happens and they go, this has got to be the bottom. Let me buy it right here. And then they're wrong. Obviously, at some point, we're going to turn around. The market is not going to fall out until the end of time. Like, there will be a time when it really does turn around, and then we're having consecutive days of upwards movement. The point I'm just trying to make is it's natural to want to predict the future for most people, and they feel good. It gives you the little endorphin boost of yeah, I got in, right at the bottom. I totally understand that. But you should fight the urge to get into a trade simply because you want to predict the future. Instead of feeling the need to predict the future, just take advantage of what is right now and be okay with joining the herd. If the herd is going one way, it's okay to join the herd, and I say that as a person who throughout my life, I've been fiercely against any sort of herd mentality in thinking or, action or lifestyle or anything. But in this particular case, yes, you should join the herd. When everything is obviously falling out hard, don't be afraid to jump in and go short. Just like when everything is ripping to the upside, don't be afraid to jump in on that trend and go with the herd, as the price comes up. Now, of course, you want to get the right fill. So that means that you want to wait until a slight pullback. If you think that you're falling, you want to wait until you see a little pop up to a certain level. And this is also why it's so important to be able to draw your support and resistance levels and draw trend lines and find the relevant places where the price should probably reverse, right? So if you can do that, then you can get in at the right moment and get a good fill on your price. So that's definitely important. But to sort of wrap up point number one, don't be afraid to jump in and join the trend. I mean, that's a tried and true way to make a lot of money. That's the way that I normally trade every single day, and that's what I've been doing for the last week. And today, like I said at the beginning of the video, it was sort of like Groundhog Day, because multiple days last week I saw exactly the same thing happening on the 10-minute Heikin-Ashi chart right before the open, where you would see this, descending movement, and then you'd see about 20 to 30 minutes of upwards movement, like looking like we were about to bounce. And then just 10 minutes before the open, you'd get that one red candle that is telling me that it's not an actual reversal. It was just a little bit of a bounce before we continue to the downside. And then, of course, I'm looking at the 1 minute Japanese candlesticks to make my actual entries. And when I see the 1 minute candlesticks corroborating what I see on the 10-minute Heikin-Ashi, that gives me my signal to get in short. And so today was no different. And I traded like how I usually trade, which is, get out a majority of my position quickly. So, within the first half hour of opening up my total position, I got out everything. I left one contract on, and then I closed out my one contract on a really big red candle that I saw at 12:11 p.m. today. So the majority of my action was within like the first half hour of the day. And then I left one on because I had a decent amount of conviction that we would continue at least, until this afternoon. And so when I saw that nice juicy red candle, of course, you've got time decay eating you up every single minute. So you don't want to, let your contracts go until the last day that they're expiring. I didn't want to do that. So it just was the right time for me to get out my last contract, and, did that. No big deal. Easy trades, $729 today. So that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Second thing I wanted to talk about, just the overall macro picture of why I have been leaning short since essentially the beginning of this year. Why have I been leaning short? Well, you can put it in really, really simple terms, and that is, now take away any of your own preconceived notions of politics first. Take away all of your preconceived notion of whether you think that you're a liberal or a conservative, or whether you like the administration or dislike the administration. Strip all of that away. Now just ask yourself, do you think that political chaos in general should make stock prices rise, or should political chaos make stock prices fall? I personally believe that political chaos is probably going to make stock prices fall more than it's going to make them rise. Now, of course, that is an incredibly simplified version of a million different things in society that are happening that I'm not taking into account. So, I'm not an economist. I didn't graduate from business school or anything like that. I'm merely saying we're getting back to like psychological things and understanding how people think and how society works. In times of chaos, I believe that you should keep a short bias instead of a long bias. And that's different from the way that I have thought in the past in terms of when there's been a little bit more status quo as far as the politics is concerned. I've been a lot more long biased more often than short biased. Now, of course, I'll go through certain things. I'll see things that are happening in society or in the markets that'll make my bias shift long or short. But in general, most of the time, I have more of a long bias than a short bias. Right now, in society, where we're at right now, I've got more of a short bias because there's an incredible amount of political chaos that's happening on all fronts every single day. And I believe that chaos, more often than not, makes prices fall rather than rise. And of course, we're going to get green days. Probably in the very near future, we're going to get some nice, big, juicy green days. And what am I going to do when that happens? Well, I'm simply going to trade exactly what I see right in front of me. And, even if I start my day with a short bias, when I see the signals telling me this is a good time to go long right here, I'm going to buy call options and not buy put options simply because I may have started my day with a short bias. So it's always got to be that combination of your overall bias that you get from your sort of big picture thinking combined with what you actually see on the charts right in front of you. And so today was a perfect example, as was every day last week, of the short-term immediate candlestick action simply reaffirming the bias that I already had about what I thought was going to happen. Now, tomorrow might be different. Day after tomorrow might be different. But, the purpose of this video is just to say it's actually very, very simple. When you think about human nature, psychology, society as a whole, connect the dots. You're always just trying to connect the dots. So connect the dots with your understanding of human nature and psychology to what you see right in front of you on the charts. And if you do that, you should be doing a pretty good job. And that's it for today. I'll be back again whenever there's something that I want to talk about. Who knows when that'll be? I'm never going to promise you another video at any one specific time, but it always seems like, there's always something that happens that makes me go, oh, hey, I can talk about this in a video, so let me make a video. And that's exactly what happened today. But until next time, I wish you all good luck. Stay on top of everything. Trade nimble. Trade smart. It's okay to have a bias, but don't ever let your bias get in the way of what you're seeing on the charts right in front of your eyes, because that's the most important thing. So until next time, take care, everybody.